stream. Okay, there you go. Now it looks like it's live. And I am live. Hell yeah, we're back, boys. But I guess it's lagging again for some reason. This is just nuts.
Well, we should be back.
It's a completely different stream, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
I wonder what happened. Back. And we're back. Yes, Jimmy. I have no idea what happened. Just stopped streaming for some reason. Guess I have to figure it out. Yeah, well, you know, we're not professionals here. Absolute amateurs. By the way, I changed the camera. Ooh, and it fell. Give me a second.
This is a tight ship that you're running today.
Who cares? Oppa. There you go. And it looks a little bit brighter. It's fine. Still echo from another guy. Hold on.
Yeah, get your speaker as close to you as possible and as far away from the microphone as possible.
I mean, like my speaker and my microphone are in the laptop. Guys, right. Can you tell me if they can still hear? Like, if you still hear Simon like echoing?
We're going to cancel your next hair transplant and get you some decent hardware.
Yes. I wouldn't mind, to be honest. I'm sending this laptop tomorrow for repair. So, you know, it's just does not want to agree with me.
Right, let's begin. Let's get on with it anyway.
Yeah, Jimmy, thanks so much. Yeah, we are super professional here. We are like a pros. You know, make the notes. Make some notes. Oh, hi, Eduardo. How you doing, mate?
To your dog shit. My live streams for my business are impeccable.
Oh. Anyways, what we've been talking about? Yeah, hair transplant. Hairline looks great. Happy. You know what? Is there guys? Do you have any questions? Like, just go ahead. In the meantime, I had some interesting videos that I was debating for a long time whether or not to to do a video about it or not. I guess we can quickly show it here. Let me just find them. Pure water. Oh my gosh, major fail. Hell yeah. Well, at least my hair transplant didn't fail, you know, that's good.
This stream is the equivalent to most Turkish clinics.
Oh yeah, that's a good, that's fucking spot on. Welcome back to Turkish live stream. Where I've seen these videos. Hold on, let me find it.
All right, you try and do that.
Yeah, hold on, look.
Furthering your quality preparation. So who in the chat is taking Finasteride and who in the chat is not taking Finasteride? I'm always interested because it's a question that comes up loads and loads of times. How many people are watching? 13. That's a reasonable sample. So I take Finasteride. What about you guys in the chat? Anyone willing to contribute? You don't take it. Okay. What's the reason for that? You take dutasteride, which suppresses more DHT. Yeah. I mean, I think the hair loss conquerors group's interesting because I also some Proscar now, yeah, because I actually moderate that as well as Rolandas, and yeah, I mean the difficulty is it's a very dirty industry, hair restoration, and there's not really any medical safeguards. It relies on the patient or customer, however you want to frame it, to become. You have to do your own research. Like I had knee surgery last year. It didn't require me to do research on the clinic, research on the procedure, research on what the tools were, research on what a good knee surgery looks like. I didn't have to do all that because it's a highly regulated industry. And I knew, I mean, I did actually research my surgeon, but but I know that there's safeguards in place for me that I'm not required to have an extensive medical knowledge in order to get a decent level of care. Whereas cosmetic surgery is complete opposite. Because it's such a loosely regulated industry, you have to do a lot of research to find out that you don't get yourself in trouble, really. And that's a bit of an issue. And that's why, Rolandas' channel's helpful, because it helps you, puts you in a position where you can figure out what a quality process is with a hair transplant and also a quality outcome as well. So you've got Norwood 2 stabilizing family history. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's down to, your own circumstances. And for me, I've got Norwood 6 in the mother's side, but then I've also got other less things as well. So for me, finasteride is pretty essential, and I've been taking it for 4 years, fortunately without any side effects. Whereas a lot of people, I mean, you've got to think that, I mean, there's millions of men who take it, so that means there's tens of thousands of men who get side effects, and people who get side effects are have a greater inclination to talk about side effects than people who don't have side effects, I would say. And a lot of people will link things that casually happen to them with finasteride, like depression. They'll say, "I got depression from finasteride." It's like, well, how do you know finasteride caused you depression? If you look at all the placebos that were all done, all the studies and things like that, then you'll see that plenty of people get depression anyway. And the same with all the side effects. So a lot of people are very quick to accuse finasteride of everything, really. Yeah, I'm still echoing. It's difficult when the speakers are right next to his microphone.
Well, sorry guys, hopefully we're gonna figure it out next time. If it's gonna be next time. Anyways, have a look at my screen. I had it for a while. Like, just look at this picture and think, what is wrong? What do you think is wrong with this picture? Let me possibly maybe zoom in. Simon, what do you think?
Was he doing extractions?
I don't know. It looks like he's doing incisions. Oh, actually, maybe in extractions. Probably manual extraction.
Yeah, so he's not wearing loops for a start. That's generally a bit of a red flag. There's not many doctors who have got 50-50 vision, so he should be wearing loops really to do that.
Oh man! Oh, wait a second. I've seen this guy in the group. Come on. Have you seen this guy in the group?
I don't know, maybe.
He was like, "Oh, I'm so happy with my transplant." 2 months after. Like, come on, mate. It's no result. It's not like I'm picking on any clinic, but like I've seen so many things like that. What's that? Okay, again, no loops in here, but there's no clear picture. There was a video when they like doing again extractions, implantations without any loops, without proper masks. It's just crazy. Oh, look here. Here they're wearing a loops for a picture. So hilarious.
That's my surgeon.
Is it?
Yeah, that's Dr. Ball. Cheeky pricks.
You really?
Yeah, go up. That's Dr. Ball.
Are you sure?
100%.
Fuck. Unbelievable. Are you a million % sure?
Yeah,
Man, they cannot just.
I'll try and find the picture.
No, they just cannot just take pictures like this from a really good surgeons.
That's naughty.
Yeah, look, 20/20 vision as well. Let's put into these holes some, in the hairline, some triple grafts.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but it's down 100% because I've seen other websites steal it as well.
There you go. Extractions. Beautiful. The person sees so well that doesn't need loops. You know about loops? It's impossible to hear Simon. Fuck, I think I've done my best to, I don't know, decrease it. I can possibly go lower.
Yeah, you need it as low as possible.
But then I don't hear Simon.
Oh.
Anyways, back on me. Beautiful scalp. So yeah, Simon, I'm looking forward for the pictures. But it's crazy. And speaking about the loops, so it's really contradicting. Like everyone's saying, oh, we need to wear loops and because you have to see well. Dr. Zarif, someone is actually mentioning, is that the same Mark Zarif does it without a microscope? Yeah, there you go. So I've seen Zarif. It's exactly the same. Like he does not use the loops, and like somehow he manages. Oh, there you go.
But he's an exception rather than the rule. You've got to think about what do most people need to do, and just because he does it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. He just might be exceptional.
Mate.
Yeah, there you go.
What is this picture from? Why he doesn't want to show
That was
full
just
screen?
that was just that's the old website. I had to find an old copy of the website, but you can see it's the same picture, can't you?
That's crazy.
Mm.
They like do. Can you just contact Dr. Ball and say, listen, these guys are stealing your pictures?
I will want to see him next time. He knows people steal tons of stuff.
That'd be crazy. But like I understand. Okay, Dr. Zarv, he's a really good doctor. I would trust him not using loops. But when some uh, like a technician that you really don't know how long they've been doing the surgery, maybe for what they just started yesterday, and you're gonna be a guinea pig. They're practicing. Like, what are the chances that they're really good? I would at least rather them using a loop so they see clearly what are they doing. And I've seen so many videos when they're just extractions, like with a motorized device, punch, 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 like 20 extractions a second. It's a little bit crazy, isn't it?
Yes, it's not. It's certainly not ideal. But yeah, Dr. Zagreb might just like say he might just be an exemption, really. It's as simple as that, really. He might be the exception to the rule. It's not a generalization. If you see proper surgeons who've got been to Royal College of Surgeons and stuff doing it, they're doing it for a reason, really.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think it's responsible for a doctor to transplant on someone without having on
Man, I
medication
almost cannot
first?
hear you. Hold on, let me need to figure it out. Second.
I'm just reading some of the comments, really. Do you think it's responsible for a doctor to do a transplant on someone without having them on medication first? Um, I think any responsible ethical doctor will have the conversation about finasteride and any sort of DHT suppressor before you have your transplant. I mean, I remember meeting Dr. Ball, and I'd already been on finasteride for 3 or 4 years, but he always talks about stabilization before deciding on a hair transplant. So I think any doctor will have a conversation with you. I mean, you might not necessarily be able to take finasteride, in which case then the doctor should really be thinking about a plan that encompasses that and thinks about further hair loss. So yeah, I mean, I think it's possible to do a transplant without finasteride, but it needs planning. I mean, there's people Dr. Ball's operated on who've not been able to take finasteride or not wanted it to, and he takes a more conservative approach in that respect. They have to have the conversation. I mean, you get people going to high volume clinics who don't even know about medication because the conversation's not even been had, and that's a really poor place to be in. You really want your doctor or your surgeon to be not desperate to get you in the chair. There's always a running joke about Dr. Ball, my surgeon, how hard it is to get surgery with him because he rejects everyone or he turns people away until they've taken finasteride. And trying to find someone who does have that ethics and is not just the problem is with the high volume clinics is they need to keep the production line. Some of them do some good results. I mean, you throw enough darts at the dartboard, you'll hit the bullseye. But the issue is that they need to get people in the chair, so they see more as a customer than a patient. If you've got to fill 50 slots a week, then you're under pressure to get people in the chair. And when you've got to get people into the business model, it really puts ethics and individual patient consideration in the back seat.
Absolutely, mate. Uh, Someone more the thing asked me, where was it? How do you find your frontal fur density is now compared to your native donor? How satisfied are you? So, uh, it it looks really good to be honest, but it's not as dense as I would like it to be. I've got roughly 50 grafts per centimeter square, like in the frontal
I think your sound's gone. I'm told they're saying your sound has gone.
How about now? Simon, can you hear me now?
Hang on.
What? Hello?
What's OBS saying to you? This is a smooth ship you're running here.
No, it's supposed to be okay. I don't know. Back on now. Yeah, I'm just adjusting my microphone so you hear Simon less or more. Yeah, I can just, let's do it this way. Whenever I'm talking, I'm putting my microphone. Whenever Simon is talking, I'm just putting it down. Anyways, what I was trying to say, just let me know, did you hear anything I said? I was just like
I heard it
rambling
all, but
for
they
half an
didn't.
hour. Simon, can you hear me actually?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, anyways, about the hair transplant. So, what? No, okay, they didn't hear anything. So I was just saying that my frontal third looks okay, looks really good, but it's not as dense as I would like it to be. So the reason for this is I've got roughly 50 grafts per centimeter square, and a lot of them are triple grafts. So with the longer hair, it creates this illusion of density, which is great. But in certain light conditions, especially where there's a harsh light, if my hair is just pushed back like that, for example, and you're gonna put the harsh light, you're gonna clearly see it, like a see-through basically. But if I would style on the side like I used to do before, then it creates this illusion much better than it is right now. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of this particular like style right now. Although to be honest, I really don't care. I'm just, I've got hair, push it back, it's fine. But with the second hair transplant, hopefully I'm gonna fix this issue. And it's mainly basically because my hair is super thin. It's like 50 microns. So imagine some people have up to 100 microns hair shaft diameter. So it's a very big difference. So hopefully that's gonna be fixed. Like that, don't touch your sound bar. So okay, what do you think is the best doctor for small loss in the hairline? Not what price? One. There's so many doctors that are good. Would not tell you, okay, go there or go like to this doctor, to that doctor. It would be a little bit biased. I always say it's best to do your research, learn what to look for in a good or bad hair transplant. And once you know what to look for, it's gonna be so easy for you to kind of dissect, and find a good one. Find a good doctor, good clinic, whatever it is, and without any help. Like you don't need to go on a live stream and ask some random stranger online, which doctor should I go to? That's my opinion. So yeah, you're 50, Simon is 100. That's great. And this live stream is great. 30 people, and I'm wondering what they're coming in and thinking, what the hell is going on? Oh, Joe, what the hell are you doing here? Go back to your channel. Joe, nothing really. We're just chatting with the guys here. I am far away.
Oh, there, Joe. How you doing? Joe was the reason that I found Dr. Ball. So thank you for that, Joe. I hope you're all well. I remember watching your content back in the day. Helped me make a good decision.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey Joe, your last video, I've seen it like not half an hour, like 50% of it. Great stuff, especially about the scar revision. Like, so many people don't even like completely avoid FET altogether. So that's great that you're still talking about it, because nowadays it seems like it's only FE. Everyone is only FE, and it's like sad. I've been talking today with one guy. He's Norwood 7, and he's a young guy. And he's like, no, FET is out of the table. I'm gonna go for FE because if I want to have to shave my head afterwards if it fails. So I was like, no. First of all, you're not gonna be able to shave. Second, FET gonna provide so much better coverage than FE. If you were in such a bad situation, it's just really, really sad. HLC, one of the best in all Istanbul. Michael, HLC is not in Istanbul. They are actually in Ankara. That's crazy. Hey Joe, don't mind us. We are just struggling here back and forth with some issues. I guess picked up from your live streams. Dr. Ball Sack. Oh, Simon. Wait, hold on. I think I've got some of your pictures that I'm sharing on my channel so often. Your crown work that looks so great. And I just someone say, "Oh, Dr. Ball isn't great," or like whatever. Like, no, Dr. Ball is amazing. Let me find these pictures. Or maybe you have right now, like any recent ones that you can share.
I can send you some on. I can send you one on Skype. There you go.
Yeah, because your crown is so good. It's like one of the best crowns I've seen with such a small amount of graft. So you know, let's show it to the boys. Have a look. Okay, you cannot really see much the crown here, but like it just covered it all. And how many grams was in the crown? Like 1,500?
1,700.
Yeah, 1,700 in the crown, and like that big, completely bald. To me, it's crazy, to be honest. Oh, come on. I'm trying to find. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to find some actual work.
Oh, one moment.
If you got it, you know, if it's easier for you, just send me over. I've got somewhere. Been using those pictures so many times. Ooh, that's beautiful. But the quality for oh, there you go. Okay, let's have a look. Look at that. Whorl to align with native hair. Vertex transition into mid scalp. No, really, like look at the angles of the hair, and not just the angles, but the way they like the angle of implantation, like not just left, right, but up and down. If you know what I mean, like it's perfect. I wonder if you, Simon, could possibly get a decent picture from the same angle, like right now. Is it going to be visible? What do you think?
I think it'll just look like the first one you showed.
Hey Joe, my microphone was off again. Look what we found. One Turkish clinic taking doctor's ball picture to promote themselves. That's funny. Yeah, so the crown is beautiful. I'm just trying to find the live chat. Oh my gosh, I'm such a newbie with the live stream. Oh, what do you think, Joe? Do you think they're gonna sue me now for this? Because I'm, you know, showing it on my YouTube channel, exposing them?
No, I think you'll be alright somehow.
Mate, I've got so many clinics emailing me like, we would like you to take out this video because we don't like the way you're talking about us. Or I get the messages, or I got a phone call like, this is crazy. And the more I do it, the more people are reaching out to me.
Yeah, so turn me down a sec so I don't feed back.
Whenever you're talking, I'm trying to cut
down. Yeah, I mean, in terms of that crown, it sort of exceeded my expectations. Really, I mean, I had a really bad vertex, so it was primarily mainly 1,700 in the vertex and 800 in the crown. But I think the most difficult thing when you're just getting into looking at hair restoration is trying to. It's pretty overwhelming at first, and there's so much misinformation out there. And I'm coming at it from a patient's point of view, from the ground up. You know, I've obviously never worked in the industry or anything like that, so you can never really do too much research because you know it's like. You've got to really be careful about compromising this, because if it goes wrong, and it can still go wrong even with a good clinic, you know, there's variables that can't be controlled, then you've only got so much donor hair, and there's so many young man. Oh, your English is easy to understand in your guess. It's Nicholas.
Hey Nick, what's going on from Australia?
But yeah, I'm speaking at the moment, Joe. But yeah, it's you've just got to do research, and I mean, I find it crazy that people don't meet the doctor beforehand as well, and it's not always possible, I guess, if you're flying. Like, for example, if I decided to go to Hassan and Wong, chances are I wouldn't fly over to Canada to have met the doctors beforehand, but just turning up on the day, having a hairline designed on the day, and almost hoping for the best is quite a reckless way to approach hair restoration. Had the doctor not having felt your hair, felt your scalp, looked at your donor hair with a camera to see if there's any miniaturization, and you, just all these risks you want to be eliminating. There's so many things, there's things that are out of your control, but all the things you do control, you really want to be eliminating them as quick as possible. I remember I met Dr. Ball twice before I decided to have surgery with him. And until you meet someone, you don't really get a feel for how they are, how ethical they are, the concerns, if they're more interested in just taking money from you or actually doing the right thing. And all these things you don't really get until you meet someone. And you can meet people on Skype and Zoom and things and get similar sort of things. But like, it's just one of those things you can't really do too much research on to try and avoid. You've got to break it down into two parts. I think unfortunately, you have to learn a fair bit about the process, which if you were getting, like I say, knee surgery or heart surgery, you wouldn't need to do because there's safeguards in place. And then you need to look at what a quality outcome looks like as well. And those, if you can learn what a quality process looks like, a quality process is more likely to lead to a quality outcome, and that gives you a higher probability of avoiding a bad result. And I'm sure Joe will corroborate this, been infinitely more experienced in the industry than either Rolandas and I. But when someone has a bad hair transplant, and I'm quoting one of Joe's videos, you see people, if you've got a bad hairline that's obviously a transplant, then it's more distracting than if you were bald in the first place, with people who look at it and things like that. So it's a tricky one.
I would say something that about seeing the doctor before your surgery. Like, I didn't see Dr. Ferreira before my surgery. Turned out well. I don't think it's such a big issue, but if you got a tricky case, I would say that's definitely a must. So, for example, if you're, I don't know, like a high Norwood level, and you really want to make a really good, long-term plan, then I would say definitely need to have a live consultation, so the doctor can analyze your donor and check, for the miniaturization and everything, estimate how many grafts needed for each area, etc. So I think this is important. But for the first surgery, if you've got like a small, area to cover, I mean, I feel like you can get away if the doctor is good, because for example, Dr. Ferreira, from my pictures, and he asked me to send him a bunch of pictures. He was pretty good at his assessment, because what he said on the email was pretty much what we done on the surgery. So but seeing other people going to not the best clinics, like their initial assessment is completely something else than their surgery. So I guess it depends who is doing it. Someone asked me, hold on, what was it? Oh, by the way, Joe Mordy is here. This is crazy. Oh, I wanted to talk. Someone said about Dr. Zarev, his mind-blowing results, blah blah blah. We all know Dr. Zarev is amazing, and I'm sure Joe has enough of this as well. My point, Dr. Zarev is great surgeon, but don't get confused. Remember, every single clinic is showing cherry-picked results, including Dr. Zarev. So these cases that you see, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 grafts cases, it's not the average patient. Like, average patient will not have this great donor, this amazing donor there's so many grafts. It was like, what, 3.1 average, hair per graft, I think. Like, imagine how many hairs is there. So with such donor, you can achieve, full Norwood, from Norwood 6 to Norwood 2, but how many people have such donor? Like, I've got pretty good one, but I don't think it would be possible. And if you look at the average patient, what people posting online, it's like nothing close to it. So if your expectation is going to be like this before going to him, and then you're going to set yourself for a disappointment, I think. So yeah, always, whenever you're checking any results, whether it's good or bad doctor, think it's just a result, but you need to put your case into perspective. Like you are completely different normal pattern probably, and then donor area and etc. So hair characteristics. Very important to think about it.
Yeah, I think that's true. You've got to try and think about because how what result would I get if I went to that doctor, or what do I think they could do? I mean, a lot of people mention the Spanish surgeons like Dr. Lorenzo. How do you pronounce Juan's Couto? How do you pronounce that? FUE
Juan
expert. And
Couton.
those are yeah, and they're great surgeons. There's no doubt about it. But they're generally operating, from what I can see, on Spanish patients, which I'm led to believe have above average hair characteristics. I mean, that's certainly what Hassan and Wong wrote when they spoke about some of their larger surgeries. So you're dealing with people who may have better donor areas, may have higher hair calibers, and things like that. So it's like, well, so you've got to think about the candidates that are being operated on and how relatively similar you are to them. Because if you've got really thin hair and a limited donor area, then you're not going to get anywhere near the sort of results of someone who's got a massive donor area and really thick hair. Of course, coarse hair presents a challenge of getting that softness at the hairline and things like that, but that comes with surgical skill. So you got to think about what patients and what candidates you're actually looking at as well.
Min Hai. How come Bruno Ferreira has very few before and after on the web? I don't know. Ask him. Like, I'm not working for him, and I've got the same concern. When I was researching, he had 3 pictures. Like, what? More than a year ago, he still has 3 pictures. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have time. I know he's posting more on his Instagram and Facebook, so definitely worth checking out. He posted some really beautiful crown work, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe not many people are willing to show their cases. No idea.
I think he's just forging his independent reputation away from Dr. Lorenzo's clinic, isn't he?
Yeah, probably, but I don't know. I don't think he's working anymore in there. Someone told me that went to Dr. Ferreira that he is like full time now in Portugal. I don't know. Labas vakaras, Rolandas. Richard, what's up? What's going on? There was a Russian guy actually said hi to me. I'm trying to find his name. I've got some multinational here, audience. I speak Russian, by the way, as well. I speak Russian and Polish and Lithuanian, and English is like one of the worst, by the way. So I wanted to say hi to him. Привет, whoever was asking me in Russian.
Thanks for stopping by, Joe. Nice to see you as always, and obviously thanks for all the help and input you give into the community to help steer us away from disastrous results.
Yeah, Joe, appreciate that. Really, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, if not you, I wouldn't be here. Many people wouldn't be here, and I would probably just be running around with the botched transplant. So yeah, I guess I should say thank you as well. That'd be crazy. I cannot imagine myself right now with the botched transplant. Imagine like donor over harvested. What I could possibly do being in Norwood 5.
Or Doll's plug hair transplant.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be careful about putting surgeons in hierarchies. So and so is better than so and so. I mean, I think if you took the top 20, a good sample of 20 world-class surgeons and put their work side by side, you took multiple examples from each, I think you'd struggle to tell the difference if I took, Dr. Lorenzo or Dr. Connor from the US or Hassan and Wong or Ferrer. I think you'd really struggle to differentiate which surgeon was which surgeon. So I try not to, there's so many that are just at that level that just produce naturalness where you've got no idea. I mean, we should be quite thankful that there's so many top level surgeons. I try not to put them in a hierarchy because it's so difficult to tell. And if you did a blind judgment, I think you'd really struggle to tell the difference between the top class surgeons.
You know what's funny when if you put together world class surgeons, like their results side by side, you will not going to be able to tell which doctor did which case. But if you put the bad results from bad clinics, the most well-known bad clinics, I'm pretty sure we can straight away establish, okay, this result has been done there, this result has been done there, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. It's but my point about like putting into, like you said, hierarchy, every surgeon is great. Like every good surgeon is great, but every single surgeon has his own artistic view on different things, like how he gonna be, like how much he gonna expand the donor, for example, how he gonna create a hairline, like what micro or micro irregularities he gonna do, temporal peaks and everything. Like every little detail, every surgeon gonna have it differently. So I also just look for the surgeon, for the results of the surgeon that you like. So look at the hairlines, look at the close-ups, high quality pictures and videos. That's why I'm promoting high quality pictures and everything, because if you see this, you can clearly understand how the surgeon is doing his job, because it's easy to just put A and B before and after. No hair, there is hair now, like every clinic can do it, but you cannot really see the reality of the transplant. Like you see the guy has more hair, and like there's so many delusional people online that they're going, oh, I'm happy with my transplant, look, I've got hair now. But they never show close-ups with the good lighting. The light is completely switched off, and like they didn't pay the electricity bill or something. And if they actually show the close-up, it looks so weird, like a completely like a straight line from doubles and triple graft. It looks so artificial.
I think it might be.
Trust me, people see when it's done artificially. I was talking to my barber, and he said, like, I've seen so many hair transplants. None of them looks like yours, because most of them are like, you can tell it's a hair transplant. So like, do you want to walk around with hair and everyone will know that he just had a hair transplant, or would you like to go around and nobody gonna even notice that you have any hair loss, any hair issues?
I think, yeah. I mean, it might be worth getting up some bad examples if you've got any that aren't going to annoy people. But yeah, I mean, you've got to remember that how different seeing a bad hair transplant in real life is versus a pictures. I mean, they can look bad on pictures, but when you have a look at a bad hair transplant in person, it just stands out so obviously, because nature repeats itself. And even if you, I mean, I show my brother's got no hair loss, so he's lucky, but I show my brother some results, and he can tell straight away when something doesn't look right, because you intuitively know, because nature's so consistent when it comes to hair and angles and singles and doubles and things like that, that when you have something that deviates significantly away from that, it looks really, really obvious in that respect. So you've got to learn, it's like you've got to learn what not to have before you can decide what to have. And the biggest one for me is just the angles are just so wrong on many occasions. It's just like, is that hard to get right? I guess it probably is, really.
Yeah, it is. Like, especially, like, I noticed the recent rave about DHI. Everyone wants to get DHI, and they don't even understand what it means, And they think if someone is using implanter pen, it's easier to make it natural. And while it can get like more natural, let's say, than creating the slits, because you actually control every millimeter. But it also a disadvantage if you give an implanter pen to an absolute amateur, like like angles like this. And we see it on a daily basis. Go on any forum. I dare you, like, to go and watch it. You're gonna see so many, if someone is posting close-ups, like all over the place. It's just, yeah, the angles are really bad. Hey, Crown Zach, Sagitur. I hope I'm pronouncing your names properly. Probably not. Pardon me. By the way, that's not champagne, that's white wine. Cheers.
Tell me
not sponsored by wine, by the way.
The most objective list as possible by 5 referees and surgeons. There's so many in Europe. We were discussing this earlier. It's so hard to rank people in terms of who's better than who. There must be 10, 15, 20 maybe that's pushing it, FUE surgeons in Europe who will give you a result that no one's got no idea. There's a hair transplant. I mean, there's so many you can list off. There's like, you've got the guys in Belgium, you've got the guys in Spain. There's maybe 1 or 2 in the UK, but there's quite a lot of high quality. In my opinion, it's difficult. I like Lorenzo from Spain. I think he's very, very good. Dr. Ferraduni was one that I did consider in Belgium when I was looking at my hair transplant. Dr. Ball, my surgeon, I went with, obviously. If you're going to be happy with your own surgeon. I like Dr. Ferreira in Portugal. I'm going to see Dr. Ferreira in June to get a second opinion on my donor area. But then I'm just thinking there's so many more names that pop up as well. So it's so hard to rank them. It's almost as if better to just give a list and say these guys are the it's better for me, I would say, to give a list of the people who I would be happy to work on my head. And then maybe just go from there. But
yeah, exactly.
everyone's going to have a different opinion.
Yeah, that's what I say always. Like, if someone is asking, like, what's the best surgeon or whatever, like listen, there is no one best surgeon. I'll give you 5, 10, 20 names, and you go ahead and start researching, start looking which one you like more. And that's when people are like getting stuck, like, oh wait, but they look all good, which one should I choose? Like, well, learn more about hair transplant, learn more about how, like, what to look for. That's like basically my whole channel is all about this, how to find a good hair transplant surgeon or a clinic or whatever. I do believe there is in almost any price bracket, price range, you can find a good surgeon or clinic that they can do a good job. So it's all up to you. Basically, you have to just learn and just do your due diligence. There is no you cannot skip this step. Someone was asking me like multiple times on the chat, sorry that I didn't come back to it, if I was doing my hair like research for a long time or something like that, and is it worth it? Like, yes. I mean, maybe not as much as I did, but if you would do as much as I did, you will be in a good situation. I spent, let's see, I spent around a year of time researching, but I was doing research like not as like a typical person. I was doing it non-stop, like literally non-stop. I will tell you, my whole day. I wake up, I have my coffee. While I'm drinking my coffee in the morning before work, I'm researching, either like on a forums or YouTube, or learning about the hair transplants, what to look for, whatever it is, like something about that topic. Then I'm going to work. I'm listening the Bold Truth podcast on my headphones while I'm traveling. Then while I'm going to work, I'm working. If there's a way to listen while I'm working, I'm gonna be listening again to the Bold Truth or some other podcast or some other videos, YouTube, whatever it is, more information. On my break, I'm eating again forums, mainly Hair Restoration Network was all of the time. Going back home again, listening, or again forums. Going back home, eating, and again non-stop the whole evening, sitting, watching different results, like trying to compare A, B, C, what's the difference between them, etc. Like, and like this every day, non-stop, 1 year basically. So like, this is a lot. This is unhealthy, I would even say, because I'm getting obsessed a little bit. But you know what? I think I did a great job, and I'm really happy with my with my outcome. So yeah, maybe time is wasted, but now I can, at least share my opinion and my view with guys, and hopefully it helps a lot, to others to kind of, find a better place as well.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Just letting you rant on, really. But yeah, it's about research. I mean, I first got interested when Wayne Rooney, the footballer, first had his hair transplant done in 2011, and that just sort of got me interested in it. And then it was just a case of going off and on it, and then sort of in 2017 got really interested back in it. And if you've got a reasonable time horizon and you're not in a rush, then you can save an amount of money. I mean, a good hair transplant shouldn't be too much more expensive than a reasonable car. You've got to think it's, if you buy a bad car, you just get rid of it. It's no sweat. But if you get a bad hair transplant, then it's going to impact you for the rest of your life. So, it does sound expensive when you're looking at 5, 10, potentially £15,000, dollars, euros, whatever. And it is a lot of money, of course it is. But at the same time, this is something that you're going to be having with the rest of your life. So you really don't want to compromise with it. You really want to do your best to not treat it like the cost of a holiday, but treat it as a serious long-term investment. And you don't need to spend huge amounts of money.
Man, there's so many people that are taking it as a holiday, like, oh, I'm gonna go, to Turkey, do my hair transplant, and I also grab my family, do a holiday. And there was one guy who was saying he went, to tan like a couple of days after his hair transplant. Like, what? Like, seriously? Some people literally plan, oh, like, I'm gonna go to this place, this is cheaper, and I also, make a holiday out of it. Two things in one. Like, I don't know. To me, it's crazy. I was staying in a hotel for like 4 days. I was not getting out of it. You know, like that's how I'm invested into it, because every little, thing can dislodge the graft, and then it's gonna start growing in the angles. What it's worth, we don't know. Maybe these surgeons are doing a great job, but maybe because the customers are just, going about their life the next day after the surgery, and then they're just dislodging the graft, so they grow in these weird angles. Who knows? That'd be weird.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, absolutely. You have to commit to it certainly, and make sure that you do the best post care. I think the issue at the moment is obviously I've got no data; it's speculative, but the volume of hair transplants that have been carried out, I imagine, is by far the most in history at the moment. So, and it's not really going to be 5, 10, 15 years until the big problems occur. But you're going to see a whole huge amount of people, a generation of people having hair transplants, particularly men in the 20s who are ill-informed on medication, ill-informed on hair restoration, who are going to have significant problems in the future. I mean, it's about tangenting slightly. I have a couple of business interests, and I was talking to my business partners saying how, what's going to be needed in 10 or 15 years time. And I don't know, it's difficult. Maybe hair systems and fibers are going to be the thing to invest in now for 10, 15 years time. But you want to avoid being one of those people. I mean, most ethical surgeons won't operate on people unless they're in the late 20s, unless it's exceptional circumstances. And they're not doing that because they don't like money. They're doing it because they know that the amount of hair that can be lost, even on medication, between someone in the 20s and the 30s and 40s can be immense. And one final point I'll make that we often see is the way young men particularly will rationalize it to themselves is they'll say, oh, I won't care about my hair when I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60. You ask anyone who works in hair restoration, shame Joe's not still here, and he'll tell you that there's plenty of men of that age who still care about the hair. I mean, if you care about your hair in your 20s and 30s, you're going to care about your hair in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. You're not just going to want to shave it off. It's a bit of a naive, hopeful thought, but it's typical human behavior not to worry about the long term. But if you are thinking about that, trying to get the short term benefit at the expense of the long term, you are still probably going to care about your hair in the long term.
Indeed. I was literally talking about it today with one person. Uh, well, with one person, it's like every day I'm talking about the same. People have the same expectation, and I was there. I understand. I was exactly there. Like, you know what? Just gonna go for low hairline. Fake as much as possible, do as much as I can, and enjoy, my early life. But thanks God, I found Joe. I think he was one of the first points that was like saying, don't get a hair transplant. I was like, wait a second, what? Why he's telling me not to have a hair transplant? I think it was like the tipping point. I didn't understand why he's like contradicting like a majority, basically, which was weird to me. And of course, Dr. Lorenzo, many of you guys that are watching my channel probably know, right, that how when I was doing my research, I sent like emails like for consultations. I know like 50, maybe more, probably more clinics like all around the world. And like most of them, like there was a random, mainly Turkish, because I had low budget. So everyone was like, yeah, come over. We're gonna do a hair transplant for you. But Dr. Lorenzo, he said, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be doing a hair transplant on your in your case because you're not on Finasteride. Start Finasteride after 6 months. Send me an email again. I was like, what? Why would like? It's weird, And then I realized, wait a second, must be something into it because he was a well-known good doctor. So obviously I started looking more, and I realized that's Finasteride. You have to do it. You have to take Finasteride before hair transplant, and you have to plan your hair transplant long term, basically for life. You're gonna go for this low straight hairline. Imagine how you're gonna look ridiculous when you're like 60-year-old. Just so many people like that, isn't it, Simon? It's crazy.
It is. It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, to some degree, I mean, you have to balance risks. I mean, I'm at this juncture at the moment because I had 2,000. I've used 2,500 follicles. I'm 37 this year, later this year, and my crown coverage has exceeded my expectations. The question is whether I want to lower my hairline. So I need to try and figure out what is my max donor capacity. I'm going to get a couple of opinions. I'm going to use my surgeon, who's known to be quite conservative, Dr. Ball. I'm going to see Dr. Ferreira in June, just so he can assess my donor area to get his view. And then I potentially might go see another well-regarded surgeon. I don't know who that'll be at the moment. And then I can decide how much risk I want to take on. I've got enough donor area to keep my entire hair for the rest of my life, unless some horrendous thing happened, but it's unlikely to be AGA. But then I need to decide if I want to take on a little bit more risk, lower my hairline a little bit, maybe do a bit to my temples, and then risk maybe having some problems later on. So you can, make an intelligent decision about having short-term benefits for a longer-term risk, but it doesn't want to be a reckless punt where you just don't care whatsoever of it. So that's the practical position
I think it should be like you should take a calculated risk. Again, if you're well informed, you know what's gonna happen. If you know best case scenario, worst case scenario, if you're gonna do whatever it is, then you know what to expect, and you can get ready yourself for all the outcomes. I'll give you an example. My personal case. I'm Norwood 5 right now. I'm on Finasteride. Works well. I don't see any more further progression of hair loss, which is great for like almost 2 years now. That's amazing. But my father is Norwood 7. My older brother is Norwood 6. So I've got pretty crappy genes, If I would stop Finasteride, I'm pretty sure I would already probably be Norwood 7 or Norwood 6 at least. So I could still potentially go to this, I could go to Norwood 6 easily in the future, even on Finasteride. So I need to think about it when I'm doing my, first and second and maybe third, who knows, hair transplant. I need to be conservative as well about the donor. And one of my, let's say, worst case scenario, if I go full-blown Norwood 7, it means quite a lot of grafts gonna miniaturize because they were extracted from Norwood 6 safe donor zone. My worst case scenario, just gonna, do SMP all over, shave my head. That's it. I always say don't think about it, but that's my worst case scenario. And hopefully I'm gonna, manage to live my life like that. But to prevent this, that's when I'm planning to get an oral minoxidil after my second hair transplant to kind of give a boost. So Finasteride works well for me, but if I give like another kind of stimulant, I'm hoping it's gonna give me more years, if that makes sense. So I don't need to worry about basically my hair loss as well. And then probably I'm gonna add some microneedling just in case, basically a kitchen sink approach. And as soon as Brizula gonna be gonna go FDA approved as well, I'm probably just gonna jump right on it as well, because topical anti-androgen, just another way of battling hair loss, So that's my plan. Basically, I know what's the worst case scenario, I know where I'm heading, and I know what they're gonna do step by step. Right now, with my transplant, with my medications, etc. So I think most of the people would benefit to create for themselves this kind of plan as well. Why not try oral minoxidil first and see if you get enough gains to not need second? I've been on topical minoxidil with microneedling, and it was not enough. Definitely far away from enough. On mid scalp. It's
the hair just simply isn't there, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there is, but it's not enough. It's definitely not enough,
there's some that just can't. There's some that's so miniaturized it just can't be rescued. I think the rule of thumb is the 50%. When it goes 50% away from terminus, then it's.
About this 50%. I don't know. Like Jay Aprikosh always telling if it's 50%, it's like game over. But to me, my hair was so thin, miniaturized. But then I started minoxidil with microneedling, and from this length they started growing super long, and they got much thicker. So they obviously didn't went full like a blown terminal 100% hair, but they got much better. So I mean, I think minoxidil can give a great boost, but in my case there was no, like, minoxidil is giving boost to existing thin hair, but if there is already no hair, there is nothing to boost. Basically, that's my issue, and that's why I'm getting my second hair transplant. And oral minoxidil gonna be kind of to support Finasteride, basically, because Finasteride prevents further hair loss, but minoxidil gonna give the boost, so it prolongs this anagen phase. So hopefully, kind of, gonna work together well to, kind of give me more years, like I say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the overall lesson is, particularly if you're not using medication, is, you know, is it, I can't believe who said it, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I think it's one of the famous Americans who said it. So that the more you can save, the better, really. You want to, it can cause crazy shedding, but that's usually an indication that it's working, because you shed and then your hair starts to go back into the cycles once again. But yeah, the less you can lose, and the more you can save, the better. Absolutely. That's probably the most important thing, really.
Yeah, Max is keep telling me like, oh, Dr. Pereira should should give you a second procedure for free. Yeah, man, I wish. I hope he's watching this this live stream, Dr. Pereira.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
got to try things. You got to try things, and
he told me he's gonna give me a couple of 100 grafts free of charge if he sees I need it.
you
I'll
mentioned
take
the
it.
sorry, go on. I'm just reading some questions. You mentioned the anesthetic needles barely hurt with your first hair transplant. Everyone has asked, is it extremely painful? I can give you my experience. So I have a head that processes anesthetic really, really quickly. So I ended up with about 50 injections throughout the day. Some are on top of an existing numbing, but it wears off already. You know, doctor had to go away and calculate I could have any more based on weight and the way they do it. It stings a little bit for me. It's not pleasant, but it's something that you can worry about much more than reality. You know, you might grimace a little bit. But you get through it. You know, I mean, if I wouldn't hesitate to do it again. It does sting a little bit, but it's nothing that you can't that's going to cause you any real pain or distress. You know, you just sit there and you get on with it. I think it's one of those things you can worry about that's much worse than the actual reality. You'll probably have it done. You'll think, oh, is that it really? So I know it's something that people worry about, and some of the more unscrupulous clinics will claim as this pain-free and try and upsell you on that, which I think is disgraceful personally.
Man, this is so bad. Like this pain-free anesthesia. Like, ask any person that had this pain-free anesthesia. It's not pain-free. It's like as much, and they paying like a 100 or 200 euros extra for. Like, I never understood. If a doctor thinks something is better and something is worse, why he would use the thing that is worse? So he's basically saying, okay, come here, pay less, you're gonna get shit result, or pay more, you're gonna get a good result. It's like, you know, you choose, you pay extra, you're gonna get the HI package, you choose, you know, least expensive package, and you're gonna, you know, have the standard FE. Like, what in the world is this, you know, thinking? Like, if you think something is best, just do it all the time for everyone. I think that's what a good doctor would like, all his patients, you know, to be happy. But this is clearly not the case. It's like the only financial gain, that's all that matters, which is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, certainly. I think any ethical doctor would want to reduce the pain as much as possible from a starting point. So that's a red flag for me when they're trying to treat it as a commodity and they're using traditional business tactics in a medical context. That, I mean, obviously, I've got no objection with them making money and things like that. Of course not, but they should make money on the back of delivering outstanding results, not on the back of upselling or making a business case. In that respect, I mean, I think, yeah, Crown. You've mentioned that a couple of times, haven't you? You obviously do like that doctor, and he's very good. But again, I would say if you were to take results from possibly the top 5 or 10 quality FUE surgeons and put them all side by side in the same lighting and stuff like that, I bet you wouldn't have you would have no chance of telling the difference between the results, because you know, it took some of the top guys from America as well. And stuff like that. So yeah, he's a quality doctor, but there's certainly you know, there's like I said, if you took some of the best doctors on the planet, best surgeons, you probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart, because the point is, you shouldn't be able to tell them. You look at some clinics and you can see the work. You know, Hair of Istanbul, for example, you can see their work from a mile away. Dr. How do you pronounce it? Is it Cinik, Cinik, that one that everyone goes to? You can always tell them because they implant in rows. Whereas if you take the best surgeons in the world who are trying to create naturalness, they shouldn't have a signature look, because, you know, naturalness doesn't have a signature look. Well, obviously it has repetition and things, but you know, you shouldn't be able to tell a surgeon's work, because it should just look like Mother Nature.
Yeah, man, I just put a picture that actually Simon did a while ago. Famous picture. I love to use it as an example. And I never say what is what. I just say like, you know, spot something weird. Which hair transplant do you like? And people say, most of the time they say, oh, I like the middle one, on the middle on the left here, right, the bottom right. Oh, this middle top looks so bad. And sometimes the very same people that are going to these clinics, they are saying that this hair transplant look bad, but they get the same, and they think it's good. Like, survivorship bias, no?
Yeah. So what do you guys think of these pictures? So you'd like the top row, okay? Okay, fair enough. What about other people on these three sets of rows? Just out of interest, it's not a trap. I mean, there are some are HTs, some are not. Some you might recognise the forehead of the famous people. I put this together just to illustrate the difference between naturalness and unnaturalness. So what do other people think? No tricks or traps or anything like that. What are your honest opinions about these pictures? What looks good? What looks bad? What looks natural? What looks unnatural? What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's the thing. So for example, here in the middle right, some people don't particularly like this hairline because it's not straight, but it is. It's like staggered, but a little bit too much. It looks weird. But then some people don't like the picture in the bottom right corner, like it's not straight. It's like have a weird shape. But again, which one is in the nature? Like you don't really like. There are a variety of hairlines. So some of them they're like.
Yeah. So the middle ones are people with no hair loss. It's Stephen Gerrard, Brad Pitt, and Colin Farrell. Is it the Irish actor? The top three are Turkish hair transplants from the same clinic, and the bottom ones are from some world-class surgeons, all in the USA actually, like Dr. Connor and people like that. And the point I'm making with this picture is, do the top three or bottom three look closest to the middle? That's no, the bottom three are transplants, the top three are transplants, the middle three are natural. Yeah, good call there, Wally.
There you go. Yeah. It's a good example. Like I love this picture. It's like, because when you're just looking at certain results, you might start thinking, it does not look really that bad. It looks okay, and then people talking to themselves all the time, it looks great. It doesn't look that bad. Then they talking to each other that, it looks great. You have more hair now. And they accepting the lower quality of work as of it's good. It looks good, But when you put this quality work side by side to actual quality work, then people realize, wait a second, it does not look really that good as I was thinking it is, So I think it's important, to understand, because I mean, for me, we both with Simon know how the hairlines are done naturally, and this is like nothing natural. But hey, some people claim they are happy with it, so good for them.
Yeah, but bottom middle is very, very nice. I think one's I think I got a couple from Dr. Connor in Chicago, is one of my favorite surgeons, and I can't remember who the other one was, but it just gives you a reference point. I mean, the middle three, are guys who've got no hair loss gene, and then the bottom three are reconstructions, and the top three. But yeah, when you put it like that, it just shows you what true quality work is like versus what you will find at high volume clinics who just don't have any artistry or skill, and you don't want to end up with a hairline like that because it's obvious. Simple as that, really. Yeah, exactly. Top middle is comical, isn't it? And everyone, and I've seen people post about that and say it looks amazing. The thing is, when you've got a lot of social media, they'll use a lot of contrast, so they'll show a horrible picture of the guy before looking bald and miserable and pale and horrible, and then you'll see an after picture which looks like it's been through an Instagram filter, and the contrast, because the only reference point you have is the before picture, which looks terrible, makes everyone think it looks amazing. It's it's very easy to please a bald man, isn't it? But then when you actually get an objective reference point of Mother Nature, and then a second reference point of how good true natural artistry looks like, it just makes it look pretty terrible, really. It is this. Yeah, the bottom right. I can't remember the bottom right was. I'd have to Google image search it. But yeah, there were three. They're all American surgeons. Those ones, because a lot of people fly out to America. I know America's very expensive at times. Very expensive. In fact, some of the most expensive hair restoration in the world. But it seems perverse to fly away from some of the best surgeons to potentially go to some of the worst. But you know, budget is a practical consideration, of course.
Yeah, I don't know how people actually getting transplants in US. Man, you have to be a millionaire. I will
It's
never
expensive.
afford.
Yeah, I mean, to think Dr. Connor's nearly 3 times as much as my surgeon is just insane, and my surgeon was expensive. So it's just, I mean, he's amazing, but yeah, it gets expensive. But
Three
then it's
times,
a
three
bigger
times
rich
than
population.
yours. So it's like what, 2, 4, 6, 8 times more than Ferreira.
Yeah, it is, and it's not. I
Imagine.
mean, it's yeah, and it's certainly not 8 times better. I mean, yeah, if you can find people at the sweet spot about €2.50 a graft, you can. That's when I think your real high quality can start kicking in, like Dr. Ferreira and other people like that. It's just a case of searching, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, someone asked me if, in the chat a while ago if I know that Dr. Ferreira is planning to increase his prices. So during my surgery, actually, over a year ago, I asked him if he's planning to do it because, you know, like from like results that he showed me looks pretty good. And from what I've seen during the surgery, how they everything operating, it sounds really professional. Of course, I didn't know how the hair transplant gonna look, but I asked him this question: "Are you planning to increase the prices?" You know, and he said, "Yeah, probably I'm gonna increase the prices by the end of the year." So it was in 2020, and then all of this pandemic and everything happened. So from what I know, his prices are still the same, 2.5 euro per graft. But I don't know if he's planning to increase. Maybe, hopefully not when I'm getting mine. So yeah, but I think I mean his job is so good. It's like it's such a bargain, to be honest, in my opinion. And yeah, someone said I'm sus. I'm undercover working for Dr. Ferreira. Ah, yes, I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
you
exposed
would.
me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. He is fantastic, Dr.
Man,
Connor.
like so like, this guy from one clinic that called me to say that, oh, I don't like your comments in here and there. He said, oh, I see you doing all of these things, you know, together with Joe Tillman, you know, you're working together. I was like, what? He thought I'm somehow related. Joe Tillman, we working together in something. I don't know. I have no idea how he thought about it. I understand why people might think that I'm promoting Dr. Ferreira, which I'm not. But like Joe Tillman, really? Why? Weird.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
mean, you ultimately do, don't you? You ultimately get people like that. I mean, the problem is you're telling people a lot of things they probably don't want to hear. A few reality checks, so it's easier to dismiss you rather than dismiss your arguments, isn't it? That's a pretty standard way that people behave, really. But it's just a case of doing research, finding out what a good transplant process is, and finding out what a good outcome looks like. What makes, and all the information's out there. You know, you're not going into it blind. I mean, of course, all the misinformation's out there as well. But all the information's out there to make quality informed decisions. It's just a case of putting in the effort, being critical about your information sources, and just trying to find reliable sources and trying to figure out what naturalness looks like. And once you learn what naturalness looks like, then you can figure out what goes into making naturalness.
yeah,
And just,
exactly. Like
yeah,
I always say, don't take information only from one source. It's like that's the mistake number one. Take the information from as many sources as possible. 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, whatever it is. Find as many places that are talking things, and you're gonna spot things that are not, you know, they're not matching opinions. For example, you're gonna see some saying, "Oh, DHI is better than FE." Some saying FE is better than DHI. Some saying FET is the best, and everything else is, you know, just secondary. And some like me saying both FE and DHI are the same. You know, like it all ends up to like you have to just do your due diligence. You have to do your research, and you need to understand, you know, what to look for. That's why I always a big proponent and telling to everyone, like, man, just learn what to look for. Once you know what to look for, you don't need me, you don't need Simon, you don't need anyone to tell you where to go, who is good, who is bad. You're gonna be able to spot like this, like how I see good and bad work. I see it easily like this. I see it on the street. You know, I was surprised after I learned so much about hair transplants. How many people have had a hair transplant? I see it on the street. I'm in London, so there is a lot of people, and I see it quite often, to be honest. And most of the work is not great. I've seen one guy with completely obliterated donor, and it was really sad. I feel really bad when I see these kind of people. So that's basically fueling me to do what I do. Yeah, crazy rant.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've said I think we've answered that question a couple of times. Crown Zach, you know, you're saying is anyone compared to him? We've said yes. If you take work from a group of the top surgeons, it will be indistinguishable. You won't be able to tell apart. You know, you can't just. It's difficult to make comparisons when you take a group of top level people because they'll be producing outstanding naturalness. Like I say, if you took several examples in the same lighting, same conditions and stuff from 10, 20 world-class surgeons from around the world, I think you'd really struggle to tell them apart. I think you'd almost have no chance because they're not going to give like a signature a look. They're all just going to be producing very, very natural results by replicating what nature had previously had there to some degree, and you won't be able to tell apart. You know, there's plenty of people who do amazing hairlines. I think if you put a Lorenzo, because they operate on relatively similar patients, a lot of Spanish patients who have generally good characteristics. I think if you put 10 of Lorenzo's patients and 10 of how do you pronounce? I can never pronounce his name properly. Couture, is it? Whatever his name is. If you put 10 of his patients. Sorry, what is it?
It's Dr. Juan Couture.
Couture. All right, okay, good. You can tell I don't speak multiple languages. Yeah, if you put 10 of those patients together and mix them all up, I don't think you'd have any idea of telling them apart, really. And that's what's always interesting about this. We don't have that benefit of blind tests, really, do we?
Indeed. Okay, guys, let's sum it up. Drop your comments in the chat. We're gonna be answering them right away because there was so many we just missed so much. I feel bad. Last live stream I was purely answering comments. This one is a little bit interesting one. So much shit going on. But hey, we figured it out somehow. I need to use the slider back and forth all the time, but hey, it works. That's the most important thing. No comments? Wow, shall we, wrap up and go drink some more wine?
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds great. It was actually great. Quite a lot of people, quite steady, Interesting. I like to do this kind of live streams. I think maybe I'll do some more often once I figure out how to do it properly, obviously. Because, in this case, we can literally live discuss things and show like actual examples. I can share my screen and it's like amazing because it saves so much time. You can't believe how many people are like asking me same questions all over again. So I think with the live streams can kind of save the time for me and to kind of help as many people as possible in the same go. What's about you, Simon? Is a lot of people texting you as well?
Yeah, I mean, when I've got time, so I'm obviously busy with my stuff. But yeah, on the hair loss group, I've had conversations with people. I actually I sometimes speak to people who potentially want to go to the surgeon that I do as well. I've spoken to a couple of people who want to talk to previous patients. So yeah, I spend a bit of time on it. I think in terms of, since I've learned a fair bit about it, you're welcome, Crown Zach. I think because I've learned a bit, I feel like sharing a bit of knowledge. Obviously, it's limited. But I think from going from someone who knew nothing to becoming a reasonably informed patient who I dare say picked a good surgeon, I think it's just interesting to share that experience. Yeah, I made some mistakes along the way in the research. I didn't take finasteride early enough and things like that. But it just I'm pretty critical of bad hair transplants, and I don't really want people to have them because I imagine it's very, very psychologically and mentally stressful if you get a bad result.
Yeah, I really feel bad for these people because like it's the hair loss itself is it's a properly mental disease pretty much. Like some people are saying that like they're pretty much suicidal, they want to kill themselves because of this. It's pretty bad. And imagine their only hope is a hair transplant. They get it done and turns out bad, and now they look worse than they were looking before. It's pretty bad. Like I really feel bad for these people. So yeah, I'm like spending as much time as I can. Too much time actually. So so yeah, let's answer some questions. Jake, hey Jake, how are you doing, man? Thanks answering for my email. Just want to say hi. Cool. Microneedling after surgery. So I was using my derma roller. I was doing microneedling myself before surgery, and after surgery is not the best idea because skin has to heal, and we really don't know. There are literally zero studies. Nobody's talking about it. No doctors really know as well. Some say 6 months is okay. Some say 12 months. Some say don't do ever, microneedling. So who really knows? I personally gonna start microneedling after my second hair transplant, but I'll wait. I would say at least 8 months. Once I see my skin is properly healed, that's when I'm gonna start doing it. So yeah, have to be careful with that. Any idea when barbers will open in the UK? Man, like probably 12th of April, I guess. But to be honest, I'm thinking I'm not gonna be going to a barber. So I'm just gonna keep this band. Man, it's such a time, like a lifesaver. Literally, I don't need to do anything with my hair, and it stays in place all the time. Don't need to bother until I'm gonna get my second surgery. What was it? Think they both happens in waiting lists.
Yeah, sod's law. The first year that I've needed a barber is I can't go to one.
Yeah, the struggle is real, isn't it?
I've not needed one for about 10 years, and then now.
Yeah. Will you get a swirly pattern for your crown transplant? Well, hopefully. I've seen, I think, 2 cases from Dr. Ferreira. He posted on Facebook and Instagram with his crown work, and it looks really good. Like I've sent this to Simon. Simon was like, "Wow, like it's really cool." So I'm hoping I'm gonna get something similar. Fingers crossed. But it was just 2 cases, so yeah, we'll see. Couto clinic said they weren't taking patients. Yeah, Dr. Couto is a strange thing. He has like booked so much in advance. It's like almost like who would wait 4 years for a surgery? I wouldn't. There's so many other amazing options. Sergey Smely, what's the verdict on Turkey clinics? Which ones offer reasonable quality? I would personally go to only 2 places, which are Dr. Pekiner and HLC, which stands for Hairline Clinic, both in Ankara, both charging 2.7 euro per graft, so even more than Dr. Ferreira. But these are the only options I would personally go. I would not go to anyone else because, I mean, I was considering Turkey myself. That was my maximum budget. I was considering many options, and then I decided at the end not to do hair transplants and wait and save up more money. That was my, thing. I would advise the same. Booked 13. Good for you. Do you work with the hairband? I don't, but I wouldn't mind. We'll be getting a swirly pattern, like I just answered now. Experiences traveling after transplant without a hat. Yes, I was traveling without a hat. Go on my channel, check my very first video. Interesting one with a lot of holes. I like after my surgery with a shitload of like 3,600 holes on my back of the head. I was going by walk to my hotel. Everyone was staring at me. Fun experience.
I had that the next day when I was checking out the hotel. It looked like I had all my puncture marks and stuff in the head, but who cares?
Yeah, I noticed so many clinics they just putting like a bandage or something. I didn't have anything, and it was all there for exposure for all the world to see. They probably were thinking, what the hell happened to this guy who shot him like so many times?
BB gun head.
So, as of people looking at you, yes, they are. Like, think about it. Put yourself into these people's shoes. Would you look at someone that has something going on his head? Like, I would say 1,000,000% yes, you would definitely look because it's something unusual. So I'm not surprised why people would be staring. And think about it this way: you will never, ever, ever see these people again. So why bother? Smile to them. Yeah, I had a hair transplant, and just ciao, ciao, bye, bye, move on. How much grafts are possible at max with FET? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think I've seen. Ooh, Simon, how many grafts did you see with FET from Hassan Al Mouk? I think it was like what 9,000.
It's my favorite transplant. Let me get it for you.
I know which one I'm talking about, but was it like 8 or 9,000
I
grafts?
think it's 8,400 or something like that. Just show it on screen. I'll link you to it in Skype in a moment. But this is my favorite hair transplant. It is absolutely amazing for a one surgery hair transplant. It's almost unbelievable. 8,402. But again, this is a Spanish patient with exceptional characteristics. This isn't something that's available to everyone. And it was a 3 centimeter FUT strip at the back. 3 centimeters. That laxity that guy must have had. Yeah, this is my favorite single hair transplant. It is amazing. If Rolandas will show it. Yeah, if I needed a big FUT surgery, Hassan and Wong would be hands down the person that I went to. If you put the compare before and after at the top, just slightly higher, scroll up. Yeah, scroll up to the other one. It's a much better one, as in on the top of the web page. Just go up a bit. No. Oh yeah, sorry, the stream's delayed, isn't it? Yeah. Go on the compare before and after ones, and then you can do the scrolling. It's insane, isn't it?
Oh, I just realized nobody was hearing me. Yeah, really, like Norwood 6, one single strip. Like I always say, man, like now I wanted to go for a FET as well, and I was thinking, like, listen, if I'm gonna be able to get a decent amount of grafts in one go, like 5,000 at least, I will definitely go for FET. It's like as close to one and done as possible, you know. And like, of course, this one is like, it just looks like unrealistic. I'm sure a lot of people gonna say it's fake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful top view.
But you can, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm interested how much FUE might have as well. You're right, but you can see the way they've been very clever with density as well. When you look at the top-down point of view, a little bit delayed on stream, but I don't know if you've looked at it. But from a top-down point of view, you can just see how they've been very smart with density. But because he's got such thick hair, it's not really hindered him that much. But it is an absolute glorious transplant. Yeah, this top view there. I don't know how delayed I am behind it, but you can just see how they've just reduced the density at the back because he's got such amazing hair characteristics. It just does wonders for him.
Indeed, yeah. This was a really, yeah. So if you got the donor for it, man, FET can be just a freaking life changing in just one go.
Yeah, I think the three centimeter strip I took from the occipital area. You know, I mean, what laxity have you got to be able to take 3 centimeters out? Jesus.
Yeah, FET, like that's what I'm saying. People always like, oh no, I'm just gonna go FUE. No man, you cannot go FUE in one go like this much. And everyone wants one and done. It's like literally just go FET and that's it. Move on with your
Yeah,
life.
you've got to make sure you've got to remember that these 5,000-6,000 FUE sessions are not the norm. You don't see top surgeons doing huge sessions like that. It's just not smart. It's not smart for donor management. It's not smart for graft survival. It's not. It's just not done at the top level. As simple as that. What would be the main skills to look for in a good hair transplant surgeon? One that's not trying to get you in the chair, that's actually got your best interests and is quite happy that would tell you to go away, obviously politely, if it wasn't right for you. So you want an ethical surgeon who's interested in what's best for you, not what's best for the business. I mean, that's not. I mean, you could argue that's not a skill, but that's the starting point for me is trying to find a surgeon who would do that.
Yeah, indeed. Really, really good point. The one that is not selling you hair transplant. Anyways, I think we have to wrap up. I have to go eat some food and get ready for tomorrow. It's pretty late here in England, so appreciate guys, appreciate your time here on the live stream. Simon, thank you very much for joining this hilarious live stream. Probably one of the worst you've ever seen.
Garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, gonna be probably 2 videos, but yeah. Anyways, if I'm sure we didn't answer many of the questions, but make sure don't worry, guys. comment down below. I'll be happy to come back under the video. Send me an email, whatever it is. Whenever I have time, I'm gonna answer if there's something interesting. If you got any interesting pictures or videos to share from your case or whatever, drop me on my email. You can find on my about page in the YouTube channel. I perhaps can make another video like looking at your case and saying what's my opinion. I think it's a great, way to educate people as well. Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.